Hi, this is Klaus from Odeon. In this video I'll show you how you define a surface source and assign source power to that surface source. We'll make use of this example where we have a half cylinder on the floor in a room which constitutes machinery like a turbine. So let's go into Odeon and see how we make this a surface source. So I've loaded this room and we have this half cylinder. As mentioned, it was modeled in SketchUp, and now we should make this into a surface source. So we go to the source receiver list and we open the multi-surface source editor, and here we are. And then we should select our surfaces, which will then become a surface source. So we start here selecting the first surface in the surface source, and then I hold down the shift key to select multiple surfaces. And you can see that we have multiple surfaces selected for this source. Then click the right pointing hand to select the surfaces, and then we check our surfaces to see where they will radiate sound. And as it is right now, you can see these vectors on the surfaces, they point out of the room, not into the room, except for the one over here. So we have to change the orientation of most of the surfaces. So now I select not the last one, but the next last one, and then select all these surfaces. And there we are, and this was the last one. And these should have a different orientation, like that. And it's a good idea to check thoroughly before continuing that everything is okay, otherwise you might get strange results, or the calculation might get stopped because rays are disappearing out of the geometry. You might get wrong results too. So this was defining the surface source largely. We need to assign a power, and you could go about assigning power to each of these octave bands in the equalization field. That's completely legal to do that. You could also select from the EQ list where we have predefined equalizations. You could select a spectrum, and I have one here called Spectrum Source Power of a Large Machine. This is an extendable text file where you can put your own source powers for whatever purpose. We can just have a look. So we actually already have some values for speech of normal voice and raised voice and so forth, and we also have attenuation if you already have a source power defined but you want to add an attenuation to that. That could be in the case that you have normal voice and then you want to add the attenuation of raised voice, for example. But now we are just going to add this spectrum of a large machine, and we only have one of those. It could be that you would assign a population of those. We'll get back to that in another video. And then we say OK, and we have assigned this spectrum. So that's a good way to make sure that you assign the correct values. So this was defining a surface source, and we can turn it on like this. Just to show that things works, I've assigned materials already. I cheated a little. And you can see that we have small little balls or rays radiated from this surface source. So that was all there is to define a surface source. We can go into the job list and we can calculate a grid. I also cheated a little bit defining a grid. That's an easy thing to do in Odeon. So now we just calculate 104 receivers, so that was pretty swift. And here you see the different values, EDT, and what's probably more relevant in a room like this would be something like SPL. Now I changed the frequency, but here we have SPL late, early. That's not so interesting, but SPL is interesting. And it's pretty red here, so you could hover over the values to get it, and you could rescale to get some nicer values, some more variation in the colors, for example. I can also press the Alt O to optimize the color range, and here you can see now it becomes more nice looking in terms of colors, but might not be a relevant scaling really. In case you need manual scaling, you can also set that in the room acoustics parameter list, but that was really all I wanted to say about defining a surface source, and you also got the chance to see how we make calculations and how it renders a nice interpolated map of parameters. Thank you for taking your time to watch this small video, and I'll be back in another video where I'll show you how you can make use of a surface source in order to define an area where a lot of people are speaking, so where there's a population of sources. Thank you.